What is a perfect parent? How are millennials changing the parenting world? And the dangers of mobile apps. It's hashtag parenting this week on Mom and Dad Cuss.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Mom and Dad Cuss a Little podcast.
I'm Adam.
I'm ReAnna. This is the show where we share our experience at raising 4 boys and our views on marriage and parenting without any of the sugarcoating. Let's add this disclaimer before we go on.
I've got like the worst case of hiccups right now, since you might have noticed I didn't do the intro.
Seriously, you guys, this is going on like day, 12?
2.
Day 2 of these hiccups. They'll leave for like an hour, then they come back, and poor guy, I mean, I'm sure they're painful and whatever, but I'm at a loss. I've done everything I can.
Yeah, it's not been fun.
So, Adam is halfway incapacitated, but we haven't done a show in a while, so we want to go ahead and put one out there this week. So, you're just going to have to suffer or laugh along with us as he suffers through.
I'm suffering. At this point, this is quite painful, but we haven't done a show in a while. And it seems like every time we're ready to go, something seems to be happening to me. Like we have a trip, or I get sick, or you're sick, or whatever, something happens. And yeah. I was like, I don't want to miss a show on account of really bad hiccups.
Well, and it's
funny, but it's not.
It's a parenting show. So, if there are any parents out there who have a tried and true solution for getting rid of chronic painful hiccups,
I've probably tried it.
Probably, but you know. Anyway, so this week is hashtag parenting week on the Mom and Dad Cuss a Little show. So what does that mean? Well, we have this thing where I guess technically you and I are considered millennials.
Yeah, I'm on the outskirts of what classifies as a millennial. I was 84. You were born in 84. So...
Thank you.
Actually, incidentally, this episode should be going up on what is your 25th times or plus
3rd anniversary of my 25th birthday.
Yep.
I'm excited.
I'm surprised you would do that.
What? I
would have just, again.
It's cool. I'm turning 25. I'm happy. But, so we are technically considered millennials. Yeah. And I guess society's view of millennials is that millennials has this kind of derogatory, negative connotation about it. Like, oh, you're a millennial.
There's certain elements of millennial culture which I'm like, yeah, no, fuck millennials, sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm rather with you. I get it. Don't call me a millennial, fuck you. So I get that. And
there are some things that are like, when you look at it, that they'll talk about, yeah, millennials are doing this right, or they're doing that right. But at the same time, there's a lot of things millennials are,
fucking idiots.
They're fucking idiots.
So I get that. When it comes to parenting, though, what is your opinion of a millennial as a parent?
That's a hard call. That's a hard call.
I agree, because it depends on the person. Yeah. Are you the kind of millennial that's like super crazy and, we can only eat organic, paleo, no vaccinations ever?
Are you one of those neo-millennials, or are you like a Silicon Valley millennial?
I don't understand that reference.
Are you like, tech savvy, new age, like modern millennial, or are you like a hippie? Like you were saying, the, paleo diet, anti-vaxxer, we live gluten-free just cuts.
Yeah.
One of those people? Or, I guess those kind of people that would probably fall in with what the public image of Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yes.
Or, yeah, exactly. Now you have the image, like basically like the public image of Gwyneth Paltrow. Those kind of people? Or are you like a... just a modern, connected house, social media, everything kind of obsessed with tech and social media and Kardashians type millennial.
Right. Or are you like us, where you're on the outskirts of that? You still have your millennial aspects, like the tech connections and all of that. Yeah. But we're also, we don't act our age. We act our parents' age, where we don't go out. We don't go do anything.
I'm old.
You are. We stick to the house, and if people come over unannounced, it's like, who the fuck are you and why are you here?
Yeah. Why are you knocking at my door?
So we're not those super outgoing, like, you know, I don't have a mom's club that we go on a walk every morning. Like, that is not how it is. So I agree. It depends on the kind of millennial as to are you know, how you're viewed as a parent. And what's interesting about that is how you're viewed as a parent changes every generation. You know, our grandparents were considered fantastic parents in their day, whereas now, you and I, looking back on how they parented, it's like, what the fuck? Like, how did parents live?
Yeah. Look at, like, I mean, even go back to the stuff we endured and the things we did when we were kids.
I mean, I stayed inside books. You guys were the ones that apparently had no parental supervision ever. Your parents didn't care. There were 6 of you. At least one was going to make it to adulthood. You know, odds were in their favor.
No, I came from the generation where you could actually, not that it was ever a good idea, you could leave your kids in the car and you were all right. Where, you know, your big sister was probably watching, you know, all 5 younger siblings.
Well, I mean, we did that too. Like, if mom or dad had to run into the grocery store real quick, they would leave the car running with me in it.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays that would get you arrested or whatever.
You get arrested for leaving your kid in the locked car, and then you would get a tip for leaving your car running.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, but I think back then, I think it was a safer environment in general.
Yeah, probably.
So, that, I don't think, is a parenting style. I think it's just a sign of the times.
Yeah, I mean, that's changes in culture. So.
Yeah, that's cultural changes. But
somewhere we figured out that it was dangerous to leave your kids locked in a car.
Gee, go figure. But I think, like, a parenting thing that has changed from even our parents' generation to ours is something as easy as spanking. Like,
yeah.
You say that, and it's a big taboo nowadays. Like, you don't spank anybody, and, you know, that's not okay. Whereas and
it's, like, equated with just straight up child abuse. Yeah, that a like, just corporal punishment, you know, spanking, not like a whooping, not like Tito get a switch.
Yeah, no.
Not just like a, you know,
just a, you know,
proper punishment,
a
spanking.
Pat on the back, or on their butt. Not on their back, on their butt. You know,
yeah, that would be abuse.
That would be abuse. No, just like, you know, a swat on their butt when they're not listening or they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It gets their
with
attention.
Warning.
Yeah, with warning. You don't just, you know, walk up and smack the shit out of them. No. And you don't smack the shit out of them to begin with.
No, that's abuse.
That's abuse. So, you know, I am all for spanking when done correctly.
Yes.
But now, it's like, you say it now, and it's this huge, like, issue. And
it is literally a hot button topic. It
really
is like one of probably the most controversial subject ever in the history of parenting at this point.
Which is so strange to me, because I grew up, I guess our generation grew up getting spanked. Granted, I was only ever spanked once, but, because I was a good kid. But still.
And your dad spoiled the crap out of you. There's that.
There's that. To be fair, I wasn't spanked until my stepmom came along, and it was all her fault.
Doesn't she listen to the show?
I hope so.
I think you're just like kind of rubbing it in. Like, this is your fault. You're the only person that ever spanked me for punishment.
Wow. That did not need to be out there.
Yeah, it makes for a great joke, doesn't it?
Oh my god. Now I hope she doesn't listen to this.
But on the other hand, I got my ass beat on a regular basis because...
Well, that's understandable.
What's surprising is I was actually a good kid.
I have my doubts.
And I got my ass beat primarily for fighting with my sisters.
Again, surprise, surprise.
Well, anybody who knows us now doesn't see it.
Oh, bullshit. They come over and the first thing you do is punch them.
Yes, but that's a playful fight. When we were kids, we couldn't stand each other. Now they're like, I have sisters. I don't, I wish absolutely no will upon them. When we were kids, we would gladly put each other in front of a car. There were points when we were in school where we literally were going to school bloody and bruised. In Catholic school, bloody and bruised from fighting and biting and kicking and punching, like full-on fights.
Jeez.
And so we got asses beat on the regular for that stuff.
Let me ask my famous question. Where were your parents?
Mom would have been at work at the time. Dad would have just gotten home from work around that point because we were at that, the little kids were really little. The older kids were like Dad would be wrangling the youngest ones, and the rest of us were old enough to get ourselves ready and go to school. And that's usually that's why we got our asses beat, because we start fighting. Didn't take long to cause enough damage, and then the next thing you know, we're both getting our asses beat. So yeah. Dad was right there,
But I find it interesting how something as simple as disciplining your child has become this huge issue, and I just don't get it. I mean, my school, when I was in school, we had corporal punishment. That was a thing.
Yeah.
And now it's your school will be shut down and shunned from society for forever if you do that, or if you even consider that.
Well, paddling in school is still legal in Texas.
Is it just a Texas thing, maybe? I don't know.
It's like a state-by-state thing. Because there are a lot of southern states, it is still legal. I know it's still legal in Texas because there was a school, granted, aging myself even more, but I know at least when I was in school, they still paddled when I was in school. Granted, I graduated more than 10 years ago, but my understanding is still legal. But I think city by city, some cities pass individual bans, or school districts will have a no paddling policy. But
at some point in high school, there was a petition passed around the students to make them stop, because some of the students thought that it was whatever.
It's demeaning or whatever.
I don't know. I don't remember. But honestly, I didn't care. I was I never did anything wrong, so it didn't. Yeah. This did not apply to me. Yeah. I'm a good kid. But I just think it's interesting because it's so different from generation to generation with how parenting is handled.
I don't agree with paddling in school. You spanking your kid as your personal means of punishment in a reasonable manner is one thing, but I don't think a teacher should lay a hand on you.
Agreed.
For paddle. I don't think spanking in school is necessary. But
yeah, like I said, if your kids with the right morals and the right attitude, then you avoid the issue altogether.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't apply to us. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Damien, on the other hand, is probably going to break that sentiment, but
he's just nuts.
We'll burn that bridge when we get there.
He will burn that bridge when we get there.
He'll burn that bridge when we get there.
He'll be breathing fire on that bridge when we get there.
Jeez, that child. We are going to have to buy so much wine for his teachers. Your consolation prize for making it through the year with him. I'm really sorry. Here's a membership to Betmo.
Betmo discount card. Here you go. From us to you.
Right.
Thanks for surviving.
Right. Oh my goodness. It's going to be interesting. But we are not by any means perfect parents.
No.
We are not current society's views perfect parents. We are not any generation's societal views of perfect parents. But I think we're doing an okay job.
Yeah. We've got smart kids. We've got generally well-behaved kids.
Yeah. There are a lot of outside influences that we are having to correct. School kids. The kids at school apparently are jackwagons, for lack of a nicer term.
Yeah, that always seems to be a problem is, like, you raise your kid a certain way, but then you send them to school and they start interacting with kids that have different morals or different attitudes or respect levels or whatever. They behave and it rubs off on your kids.
Yeah. Well, that, and we have had other people living with us for so long, for so much of our relationship, and for so much of our marriage, that has had a big impact on our kids and behavior, because they see either older kids getting away with stuff that they are allowed to get away with that our kids at their age are not, or they have somebody there, they have a grandparent there spoiling them and telling them, oh, well, we'll just wait until mommy and daddy are gone and we'll do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So there have been a lot of things that we've had to work around, and now are kind of having to do damage control from them seeing these things, and now they're having to learn, now that we are living on our own, like, no, not okay for a 6-year-old, that's not okay for a 4-year-old, and you don't ever talk to mommy and daddy that way.
Yeah.
So there's, and it sucks because this is all stuff that would have been established a long time ago if those outside influence weren't there.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of having to backpedal and do a little bit of damage control. But I think even with that and with having to do that, the kids are still turning out pretty all right. And I know that you and I get a lot of compliments when we go to the store with how well behaved they are, even though we don't see them as being well behaved, because we're sitting there fighting them tooth and nail every step of the trip to sit down, be quiet, stay in the cart, don't run off, stop touching things, stop hitting your brother, stop biting, whatever. Other people apparently aren't seeing this. I don't know if they're blind or what the fuck, or they just see cute kids and they're like,
they
oh,
see
look,
cute kids. Yeah, they see cute kids.
But, like...
They have cute kids, and to the outside world...
Cute equals
like Harry Potter Magic Shield, you don't see the...
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean, we do. We get a lot of compliments. They come up to us and, oh, kids are so well behaved. Kids are so quiet. And
are you fucking high?
Yeah, basically. It's like, huh? You talking... Me? These kids?
What? The well-behaved ones aren't mine.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes almost feels like we've got too high of a standard for what's well-behaved kids.
We are really hard on them, especially in public.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit, I definitely have a little bit of children should be seen, not heard, and should only be seen at certain times.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You're much more critical of their behavior in public than I am.
Yeah, I am. And well, because my behavior was criticized like that when I was a kid. Because, and I don't think it was criticized like that, but that's kind of how our day-to-day ran. Dad would come home, we'd have dinner, and any other time, I was in my room. Either, sentenced to cleaning, or I was reading a book. Yeah. So...
God, you're boring.
Yeah. Mm. I rode my bike.
Once.
Fuck you.
Okay, fine, twice.
No. I even had a super cool one where if I had all straight A's thing, it was either A's or A's and B's. But if I made an honor roll, whatever. If I had certain grades, they got me this really cool bike with a radio mounted on it. Do you remember those?
Yeah, we
bikes
didn't
that had the radio.
We didn't have radio.
I did. Mm. I was fancy. It was like AM/FM radio. It sucked.
You really barely invented the CD player when you were, and a cassette deck would have been like a full 50-pound boombox. So
yeah, no, it was just one that was mounted on the handlebars.
So you're gonna have a truck just so you can mount the boombox on the back wheels.
Well, but what was cool was the bike came with it. It wasn't Dad went out and bought a cheapy radio and zip tied it to the handlebars. No, this came with the bike.
And I remember there were bike radios that you could get that were designed to hang on the handlebars. That were kind of cool.
Or you just get the bike that came with the radio.
Yeah, mine already came with it.
Mine came with it. I told you I had good grades.
My dad made custom bikes for us out of other bike parts. We'd buy bikes, but as we would outgrow different bikes and stuff, they would take some of the rather than just a straight hand-me-down bike, he'd chopper the bikes and make a customized bike for the next round.
Yeah, I never grew out of my bike. I'm pretty sure I could still ride that one if we still had it.
Yeah, but you haven't grown since you were about 10.
Rude.
Okay, I'm just going to say I was taller than you now when I was 10.
Shut up. I'm not sure.
Okay, line 12, whatever.
But, and that is one thing that I hate about millennials now, is they are not above bribing.
Yeah, they will straight up bribe their kids to get
Everything
results.
is a bribe. Potty training is a bribe. We'll get stickers and candy and ice cream and whatever. How about you just fucking tell them that this is how it's...
Yeah, just teach them. Because that's how you have to go to potty. That's how you have to potty. That's it. You don't need... You shouldn't have your kid teach him how to use the potty.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I can understand making a big deal out of them learning and succeeding.
Yeah, just positive reinforcement. But, yay, Congratulations! Ooh, good job.
That's really all I need,
Good job, buddy.
Let's run out and tell mommy. Let's run and tell daddy.
Yay, we did it.
That's it.
Let's text mommy and say you went potty all by yourself without me helping. Yay!
So, I mean...
That's a proud moment.
That's a proud moment. It's not, you don't need to sit there and...
I'm going to buy you a deep fried Mars bar because you went potty.
Right. Or, yeah, no. It's just, I think some millennials are a little crazy with how they parent, and they just get a little too over the top.
And there's a lot, never mind the helicopter parents. But
well, okay, I'm a helicopter parent.
Yeah, you're kind of a helicopter. So, never mind the helicopter parent element of it. But just, almost like the kids have too much control in the parenting department. Mm-hmm. I'll do this if I'm getting something out of it. Mm-hmm. Because so many parents now are rewarding their kids or bribing their kids for every little thing to do basic functions. Make your bed, clean your room, little basic things that when we were kids were just expected of us. No, you did this. This is just your functional stuff.
Was it expected of you, or did you eventually negotiate a contract with your parent to where you got an allowance for that shit?
My allowance came from doing extra stuff like mowing the yard and picking up dog poop and stuff.
Oh, okay. No,
I did normal day-to-day functions. No, this is your room. This is your mess. You clean that up. That's your responsibility. And I'm the same way now with the boys. It's no, you made this mess. It's your responsibility to clean it up. If you want a reward or something, it has to be above and beyond what you are normally expected to be doing.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
I got paid for cleaning my room.
Yeah.
It was $1, but...
Yeah. I for a while, I conned my dad into paying me for mowing the yard until he realized, wait, I had been doing it for years for free.
And now you're expecting payment.
It was because it was basically my first job ever was I was mowing the yard radio station where he worked. Mm-hmm. And they paid me for it. And so it suddenly became okay, hey, I'm paid to mow yards now. So, but I had to go on. It was mow the whole thing, edge it to a clean, crisp, Texas right angle edge yard.
Yeah.
I had to look professionally done when I was done. But he started paying me, and then he was wait a second, you're the oldest boy. This is just your job. It's your responsibility as the son to mow the yard. I shouldn't be paying you for this. Get your ass back out there.
I think the only thing that I would never do, and I still don't to this day, is fold clothes.
No, we suck at that.
I just fucking hate it so much.
There's a basket of the boys' clothes staring at us right now.
Currently on the coffee table needing to be folded.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Since 10 o'clock this morning.
I can't do it.
Nice. I know we both are terrible at folding clothes.
And I can't really yell at the boys for not doing it because we live out of laundry baskets too.
There's a dirty laundry basket in the corner. There's a clean laundry basket in the other corner. I really need to fold that.
My entire life, growing up, revolved around knowing which basket was clean and
I used to have separate laundry baskets for dirty clothes, laundry baskets around my room. This is clean. I have all of my work clothes in this basket, all of my regular clothes in this basket, all whites in this basket over here. So that even when I threw off dirty clothes, it was already sorted into laundry baskets.
Jeez.
Because back in the day, I sorted my laundry. You don't even do that anymore.
I love that we don't have to.
We don't have enough whites. I have a handful of white shirt and my socks are black. So we don't even have to sort laundry.
No.
You're lazy as shit.
But what's...
That's efficient wardrobe choices. That's what that is.
It really is. But what I hated folding.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would do the dishes. It would take me a while. And,
I know.
And stuff would have to soak overnight sometimes.
You can't do that with modern pots and pans, though. That's like, you could do that with cast iron or even with ceramic stuff. With modern, like, electro, what was I going to say? Electric. With modern nonstick cookware. If you soak it, it can destroy the surface.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because I'm a kitchen nerd.
You really are.
I've read the boxes when we've gotten pots and pans with, do not soak, do not this or this or this.
As a kid, dishes was one of my chores. Now, it's not for the boys because, one, I don't trust them with my dishes. You touch my dishes, I'm going to hurt you. Two, they're not really tall enough, even with the stool, to really be effective. But we do have a dishwasher, and they help us unload the dishwasher. Yeah. And they are really adamant about helping us load the dishwasher.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, because as they've grown up, as soon as they were capable of doing something, they've had chores.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They've had a chore. As soon as they are old enough and capable of performing a task, that becomes a chore. It's like, oh, like the first job y'all get is letting the dog out. It's a simple task. It's go let the dog out, let him back in, stuff like that. It's a simple chore, and they fight for that. But that is the youngest kid's job. Yep. Because it's the one thing they may be capable of doing.
Now it's a teamwork thing because the cat likes to run outside.
Yeah, now it's a two-man job because someone wrangle the cat while the other one loves the dog.
But yeah, and I think that's part of raising your kids with good morals and a good attitude.
Yeah. And with a sense of responsibility.
With a sense of responsibility. Not letting them be lazy little shits that, sit there on their tablet or on their phone or on their fucking Xbox all day.
Which we don't have.
They don't.
Stuff for the boys.
They won't.
Yeah.
They won't for a long time. Yeah. I can understand if your kid is like in middle school or whatever and stays after school for activities and they need a phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have heard there are kids in my class who have cell phones.
Oh, I'm not surprised at all.
First and second graders who have their own cell phones. Like, hell no.
I'm not surprised at all. There was a girl at work who asked me what tablet she should get for her son, who was younger than Charlie, and this was like last year, so her son was like 4, and she ended up getting him a full fucking iPad. I was like, I'm not even going to buy myself an iPad. Why buy one for my 4-year-old?
VTech.
Not even.
Something that has a puppy or a frog on it.
Not even.
It's like, it's going to have Scout on it. Or what's Scout's friend? Violet or whatever?
Violet, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to have Scout or Violet.
Their cousin has a Violet.
Yeah, our cousin has a Violet. And then...
we have a Scout.
What's the leapfrog frog?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like the leapfrog brand frog. It's got to be Leapfrog or VTech. And I think that's actually that's the brand, whatever.
I think Scout is Leapfrog. Yeah. But
it's got to be like that. If you're going to get an electronic device, that's what it should be. And especially, those things even like... from it's just a toy. Well, those things now, you can download programs and games and things, and there can be additional stuff and things they can do on those.
Yeah. I really do we have the Leapfrog pen, the reading pen.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, it's got the books, and you touch the word on the book, and it tells you the word, so they can
learn to read. So stuff like that, that's okay, but my goodness, children don't need to be just sitting there, and I am not an advocate for make your children go outside, because I'm a helicopter parent. I don't think that's safe. Whatever. You're not going to.
And we also live on the surface of the sun, and unfortunately our boys got your, paper thin skin, so they burn very easily. It's
porcelain. It's pretty.
It's rice paper.
It really
and you
is.
Burn inside of 5 minutes.
It's true. But they do have stuff that they have to do inside the house that keeps them occupied, that they are expected to do. They know that these are their expectations. Charlie, being the oldest, has more, but everybody down to Bug has chores.
Yeah, even Bug at 2 years old, or 2.5. Bug at 2.5 still has chores. He's responsible for helping with let Emmett out, and he's responsible for
dishwasher.
With helping. Yeah, he helps me unload the dishwasher.
He has to clear their own plates after dinner. So put your cup and your plates, your bowl in the sink. Mm-hmm. That is their job. He has his...
He's put away groceries.
They all help put away groceries. And, if I need a diaper for Sammy, he goes and grabs me one.
Yeah.
So, they have stuff that they are responsible for. Dan has to make his bed, pick up toys, pick up trash, basically run around and do whatever.
Yeah. And they all have a certain responsibility to help entertain them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, keep your brother happy. Play with your brother.
Charlie's biggest responsibilities are he is in charge of keeping their room clean, although Damien is assigned to help, which it's hit and miss if he does. But he makes his own bed.
He's better with keeping stuffed animals in check and keeping his bed in check.
Yeah. Charlie's biggest chores are cleaning the dinner table, like actually cleaning.
Get out the wipe off after dinner and all that.
Yeah, actually cleaning the dinner table, feeding the dog, and
feeding the cats too.
And feeding the cats. And he also has been recently starting doing the litter.
Yeah.
And then there's, the mini chores like letting the dog outside or, dishwasher, doing clothes, helping you take out the trash.
Yeah.
That they all kind of pitch in and do.
Yeah.
Put away groceries, things like that.
It's like, hey, we're taking out trash here. I was like, I'm going to pull the trash bag. You put a new trash bag in here and then you move on to the next room.
And they're all age-appropriate chores. And I think that really helps build a foundation because then they have expectations. They know the daily routine. They know the flow of the day. And that's just how it is. They don't fight it. I mean, every kid fights having to clean their room.
Yeah.
But
they know it's got to get done, and they know that we're not coming back on that. It's like, no, this is what you have to do.
Oh, no, and I do it for them.
No.
You don't do it for them.
I don't understand those parents that do that. I see that, and I'm like, what do you mean you're cleaning your kid's room?
No.
I mean, they've had their own room, and it is capable of being destroyed on their own. The only thing we could ever say we've ever done is picking up clothes because we're the ones doing the laundry.
Exactly.
That's it. It's like, I'm putting all the clothes in the basket and I'm taking it to the laundry. Yep. But at any age where they were not capable of putting their clothes in their own basket, I'm like, it's like, you are young enough that you could put clothes in the basket, or old enough to put the clothes in the basket yourself, or dress yourself or whatever. I'm not dressing you. If you're younger than that and I'm dressing you, I'm throwing it in the laundry basket.
Yeah.
If you're dressing yourself, you're throwing it in the laundry basket.
Yeah, well, and that always reminds me of, like, something my dad used to say whenever I couldn't find something. Like, them and their shoes. Where are shoes? I can't find my shoes. Where are my shoes?
Where'd you put them?
I don't wear your shoes.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for your shoes. They're your shoes. Yeah. So.
I always tell them, put them away in the same place and you'll never have to look for them. All shoes go right, put your shoes right there, and they will be there next time you need them.
Yeah, but
doesn't keep Bug from kicking. Yeah, doesn't keep Bug from throwing his shoes wherever.
Yeah, but I find it interesting that over the generations, everybody's morals stay the same, but the parenting techniques change, and sometimes they change to a degree where you can't keep those morals intact, and it's. Because, like, the whole spanking thing, that is your personal preference on how you're going to discipline your child and what makes your child listen, respect you, and do what they're told.
Yeah.
You should not be told by somebody else how to effectively communicate that to your child.
And what works for one person does not work for another.
No, it doesn't. So I find it interesting that everybody's morals and everybody's values and everybody's expectation of their children and how they want their children to interact with society, with each other, with other adults, etc., that has stayed the same.
Yeah.
But getting their children from point A to point B, the technique used in that has drastically changed.
Yeah. I mean, fundamentally, like, good and bad are still the same. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some things that, our parents and our grandparents, what we would, consider, like, what they considered spanking or what they considered discipline by today's standards is, straight up abuse.
Yeah.
But, I mean.
I will say, my stepmom one time, she was crafty. crafty. I don't remember what I did. It wasn't anything.
Did she silly spank you? What happened?
No. It wasn't anything significant that I did because I was a good kid.
Right. You were a good kid, apparently.
Shut up.
So much so that you have to keep stating it.
I have to remind everybody. I was a good kid. But whatever I did...
How many kids do you have?
That's your punishment, not mine. I don't know what you did to deserve this, but you didn't need to drag me down into that hell. But...
I'm just saying, you couldn't have been that good if you've got 4 kids.
Ugh, all boys, too. But punishment for whatever I did was I had to get a toothbrush and clean the bathroom floor with a toothbrush.
Okay, Forrest, go.
Fuck. It sucked. I guess I learned my lesson because I didn't have to do it again. But fuck, man.
Yeah, that's military punishment right there.
It sucked.
That was just one of my chores as a kid.
Cleaning the
bathroom. Cleaning the bathroom. No. I was
had to do it with a toothbrush.
Yeah. I was oddly enough one of my regular house chores when I was like middle school through pretty much I was the one responsible for cleaning the bathrooms. Not like any sort of like, oh yeah, it's just your job. It was because I did the best job of it.
And yet you don't ever do it now.
I did enough bathroom cleaning when I was younger.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's a good thing for kids to work and to know what hard work is and to have that. And, you know, I don't understand why my sister doesn't have a job, but my sister doesn't have a job. She's 18.
Yeah. I was working for 2 years when I was 18. I was already the manager of the restaurant I worked in.
Yeah.
When I was 18.
I started working,
God, I'm old.
I think my senior year is when I started working at the library. But still, I mean, I had a job.
You had a job.
I don't know. I think
you hear that a lot now. They're like high school seniors, and I understand the where your parents say no, like your parents say no, you're not going to get a job because I want you to focus on school. I don't want you to get distracted. Or there's you can get a job as soon as if your grades slip, you have to quit your job and focus on school because school comes first.
Right.
I was an honest student, so I worked full time, and I kept up. All A's. I was just smart like that.
Well, I hate the entitlement generation. I work in the student loan industry, and when I was on the phones, I used to get calls daily of kids telling me, "Oh, well, what do you mean I can't get a loan on my own? How am I have to get a cosigner. I want to depend on my parents, blah, blah, blah." Well, that's great, but you don't have the income. Well, of course I don't have income. I'm going to school. How am I supposed to go to school and have a job and do this and blah, blah, blah?
I did it.
I did it. I had like 3 jobs.
One of the oldest, probably oldest in tenure and in age, teachers I had in high school. He actually, he was taught, chemistry and physics. Mm-hmm. And he actually told us the story of how it took him almost 10 years to graduate college because he'd go to school for a semester and then he would work solid full-time 2 jobs for a semester to save the money to pay for the next semester.
Yeah.
But so it takes time to graduate when you do that.
It takes twice as long.
It takes twice as long, but he did it. He was like, "Hey, how am I going to work and do this?" It's like, or how many kids do you know in college who are work study to where they literally work at the school?
That's what I did.
You did that. To literally work at the school to help pay tuition.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I had that. I had an after-school job at a government housing complex with a tutoring program that they ran. And then over the summer, I was a hostess at Joe's Crab Shack.
Yeah.
I had jobs.
It's like, oh, how do you expect me to go to school and have a job? And this is like, it's called hustling. It's called work ethic.
Yeah, it's called get it done.
It's done. Because if you actually care to have the degree and you actually care to do anything, you're going to find a way. You're going to put in the work and do it. Yep. No one's going to give it to you. I mean, nowadays they're kind of giving it to you. But it's not just going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You've got to put in some work.
Right.
Even if you're skating by and getting the entire process pretty much handed to you, you've at least got to do the paperwork.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, we are not by any means perfect parents. But I really hope that the boys grow up with at least that mentality.
Yeah. That you've got to work. Yeah. Whatever you want, you've got to work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We put in, I mean, surprisingly enough, even something as simple as this, like this, just doing this show, putting together what we do here. And we do this basically for entertainment purposes for both us, because this is fun for us. And for you guys that listen, this is
I don't know why I do. Y'all are weird.
You're fucking weirdos, but hey, thanks for joining us. But we do this for entertainment, but it takes work. And we work hard to put together the weirdest fucking parenting show you're probably going to listen to. But, you know, even something...
It's a parenting show on the basis that we are parents.
That's about it. The show, we talk about stuff that involves parents. One of these days, we could probably put another parent on here. So that's what we need to do, is that on another time where I'm incapacitated, we should call one of my sisters.
Right.
It's the Mom and Other Mom podcast this week. But
it's the Mom and Dad's in Bed podcast.
Yeah. The dad's over there with the flu running the board.
But yeah, I don't know. I really hope that's kind of, you know, end game goal.
Yeah.
For me, at least with boys, is to grow up to be respectable members of society.
Yeah. That's a point that my mom holds very dear, is that through, like, you know, for all the craziness that we experienced as kids and all of the stupid shit we did, because there were a lot of us, not one of her kids has ever been to jail. Yet. We were never caught for any of the people we killed.
The multitude. Masses.
Nobody has ever been able to link any of those murders to us. So,
oh my god, no. Disclaimer. That did not happen. Stop it.
That did not happen.
Oh my god.
You didn't hear any of that.
If the FBI shows up at our door, I'm letting them take you at this point.
Fuck, if the FBI shows up at our door, I'm going to say, thank you for listening. Can you leave a review on iTunes?
Oh my, the FBI is not going to review us.
Can you subscribe on iTunes?
No.
Leave a 5-star review.
Jeez, crazy.
Can you forward this to the president? I don't care which one. We'd get a new and noteworthy if the president gave us a review.
Depending on which president, because if it's
any of them,
specifically one of the upcoming candidates, then I don't want that review.
I'm sorry, we got two old blonde people that are both dingbats running for president right now.
One's more dingbatty than the other. But that is neither here nor there.
It's all of there, Washington, D.C.
It's over that way.
It's all that way. They don't give a fuck about Arizona.
But I hope that you all in listener land agree that parenting...
There's no perfect parents.
There's no perfect parents. And I think that we all need to stop that.
Stop trying to be perfect.
Stop trying to be perfect. Do what is right and what works for you.
Just try and make your kids better people. I think that's the ultimate goal of being a parent, is to try and help your kids be better people. Yeah. To be good people and to hope that they
honestly, I don't care. I don't care how you raise your kids. I don't care if you don't let them eat mac and cheese ever. I don't care if they sit in front of a screen 23 hours of a 24-hour day. I don't honestly care. What I do care about is, does your kid contribute to society in a positive way? Do I have positive interactions with your kid? Or do I just flat out hate your kid and never want to be around them? Yeah. Because then you're failing as a parent.
Yeah. Complete strangers want to smack your kid upside the head. You're doing something wrong.
You're doing something wrong.
That's kind of it.
With that in mind, invisible segue.
Invisible segue, did it? As she's making a movement like you're on an invisible segue.
You have to.
Except the thing is, if you were on an invisible segue, you fall down.
I am that uncoordinated.
You are that uncoordinated. I should really get like bump music for this anyway. Or record some sort of a weird effect like we did for the potty training thing. Anyway, this week's what the fuck moment of the week. And
what is this week's what the fuck moment?
And I'm deviating from the norm, or the Sam, or the Frasier, or anybody else at Cheers.
Ugh. I can't physically roll my eyes hard enough.
Sorry. How often do you ever get to actually make a Cheers pun?
I fucking never do. I don't ever fucking want to.
Okay. This week's WTF moment.
Rolling my eyes. Anyway,
still rolling your eyes.
Go ahead.
Is not about the kids.
Oh.
This week, I'm totally throwing ReAnna under the bus.
Aw. What'd I do?
And it's actually not what you're thinking. Because we discussed this. And I changed my mind.
Uh-oh. What did I do?
I mentioned the dangers of mobile apps. Quick side note. ReAnna just got Pokemon Go. And like, everybody out in the world has been roaming around the house looking for Pokemon. Keep trying to get me to go outside and catch Pokemon for her. Oh, go get the one that's across the street. This isn't about that.
In my defense, it's laundry day and all of my pants are in the water. I'm wearing pajamas.
You're always wearing pajamas.
I can't put on pants that aren't clean yet.
That's another millennial thing. She lives in pajamas. Anyway.
I really do. So you have clean pants. You could go catch a Pokemon across the street for me.
But no, that's not the mobile app I'm talking about. ReAnna got Snapchat.
Oh my god. Really? You're gonna give me crap about Snapchat? Ugh.
I'm not giving you about Snapchat. I'm giving you crap about obsessively playing with Snapchat filters.
They're fun. And the boys love them.
Except when you take pictures of them in like full drag makeup.
That's funny.
And post them on the internet.
I'm keeping those forever.
To the point where your stepmother is questioning, what's wrong with her? Why did she do that to the boys?
It's just a filter.
Or thinking that you actually painted all this makeup on your children.
I haven't. I could.
Yeah, I know you. Oh, yeah, because you haven't given it to her yet.
I haven't given it to our niece yet.
If she's playing Pokemon, she's playing with Snapchat filters. And especially doing crazy whatever the hell things with the boys, putting little flower wreaths on their heads. and they like play. They're like, Mommy, can we play with Snapchat? So they can, like, what was that thing where you basically set Charlie on fire?
That one was cool. I liked that one.
Or make sick Damien look like Forrest Gump.
Aww.
But that, but then you're gonna put pictures on the internet of all the boys in Snapchat drag makeup.
Yes.
Or
it looked fabulous.
Or the horror that was face swapping us.
Oh yeah, that was scary.
But yeah, she's become like...
Snapchat's fun. I got it for the kids.
What's even more funny is that she uses Snapchat, but as far as I know, she doesn't post Snapchat. She just uses the app to post it to Facebook.
No, I've sent a couple of people some snaps.
Snaps. Snap.
Just because you're not hip with the lingo doesn't mean that I'm not.
Yeah, I don't use Snapchat. I suck at Snapchat. I suck at social media in general, but I'm not going to take pictures.
Me too.
Yeah, but I admit to, like, I have a Twitter, I have Facebook, I have Google Plus, I have all these things for shows.
They're for the shows.
They're for the shows, but I suck at it. I mean, I suck at social in general, and I'm not about to go and, like, I don't have Instagram, I don't have Snapchat, because these things necessitate, pictures of yourself, and I just don't do that. And you don't like pictures of yourself generally, but you don't.
Somebody else takes it.
Yeah, you don't like other people taking pictures of you, but you will.
They don't know my angles.
Yeah, like, no, I have to from my good side. But you will take selfies and post selfies. I don't.
I do.
And I've been told that I'm not as unphotogenic as I imagine, but I don't want to take pictures of myself.
I think you're cute.
Yeah, but you also don't wear your glasses.
Oh, God. Back to that.
Yeah. But
I thought it was funny when Damien asked if tomorrow he could go catch Pokemon in the morning, and you told him no because I'm the only one that has it on my phone, and he asked you why you couldn't put it on your phone, and I said because you weren't cool enough. His response then was, I'm cool enough. I bet.
I know. You throw me under the bus there. It's like, so I'm not cool enough to play Pokemon. Like, no. I'm just not that kind of nerd.
Yeah, you are. You're just not doing it because everybody else is doing it.
No, I've actually never, ever been into Pokemon. I've always
Me either, but this is fun.
I, for a half a second, considered it.
I, for half considered it, and then I fucking did it.
I'm like, fuck no, it's fucking Pokemon. I've successfully avoided Pokemon for over 20 years.
I mean, I've had Pokemon come between me and relationships. Like,
and yet now you play Pokemon.
Yeah.
No. No.
I can't even blame that one on the boys. I got it for me.
Yeah, you got it for you. You got Snapchat for the boys. You got Pokemon for you. How the fuck does that?
I don't know.
Okay. Before we get on a whole new episode of making fun of ReAnna for her app decisions. Any last words this week, dear?
No?
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Sure.
That's a good last word. Except it's wildfire. It's grass season. It's wildfire season.
Grass season? It's always grass season in Arizona.
No, that's Colorado.
It's out here too. You just gotta have a card.
It's medicinal grass season. All right. So here's the part where I start begging for you guys to
shamelessly begging
for you guys to go on iTunes and subscribe to the show, or on whatever app or Google Play or whatever you use. Go on and subscribe to the show so that it just automatically shows up on your phone or your iTunes on your computer or whatever it is you're using to listen to the show, so that you have to go and click it. You don't have to go and look for the show every week, or whenever the hell we get around to it. Right?
We'll just show up on your phone.
We'll just show up. We'll be there, haunt you through your phone. I
was going for less than creepy, but okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Mm. That's why I do this part. Into the creepy here. And then you can go on iTunes and all that other stuff and rate us 5 stars because we're fucking funny, and leave a nice review because we're fucking funny, and then tell your friends and all other fun stuff, and maybe FBI will listen to us and will review us and all that stuff.
I hope not. But in the meantime, if you want to hear or if you want to see our shit we shouldn't have to say in this house, that has now moved permanently to the Facebook page, so please go find us there at facebook.com/momandad. You can always email us just to get rid of Ab's hiccups, as you heard throughout the show.
There's a message button on the Facebook page if you just send it to us there, too.
There is a message button, or you can always email us at momcast@gmail.com. I am the one that responds to the majority of the Facebook stuff and the email stuff, so you'll be interacting with me and not with that weirdo.
Anyway, till next time, I'm Adam.
I'm ReAnna.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.